I've been in your waters. I came for sure. I've never been so close before. It's one way or the other.
Sit. Leave it. Okay. What's going on, YouTube? Way to bark right when I start to talk, cowboy. What's up? That's not a cattle dog. Are you trying to chew on my camera? This is the topic of today's video. Not the puppy, the chewing. Drop it. Guys, I've been getting a lot of messages on how I taught Cowboy to stop nipping me. That is going to be what we'll be going over today, and it is definitely a common thing with this breed, any puppy, but I think, you know, a dog that is bred to herd and nip the heels of things is going to be more mouthy than a breed like a Rottweiler or something, or a French Bulldog, because this guy is pretty mouthy. So I mean, this is a fresh topic for me. Not for me, that's not really my dog. I have a cattle dog. But there's a puppy around, and so, you know, it's fresh at the top, it's at top of mind, I guess. And so I know a lot of you guys out there have new heeler puppies, and that's why you're seeking advice on YouTube and whatnot. So that's what we'll be talking about today. So I don't know about you guys, but when I learned that I bought a baby Velociraptor, I was a little uneasy with the fact that, you know, he was constantly trying to nip at me, and I thought it would never end. You know, sorry I'm throwing the ball, this is fetch time, post-dinner fetch time. But you will get through it. You know, it's a phase in their life that I think every single cattle dog owner has dealt with. And if your cattle dog doesn't do this, then I'm really surprised, and good on you. But as puppies, they nip. It's just what they do. They don't know any rules. They don't know any boundaries. So it's up to you to teach them those rules and what is right and what is wrong. So the main way that I did that with Cowboy, besides having extreme patience, was when he was very young, and I got him at 9 weeks old. So young stages, then I was mostly just redirecting him with toys, you know, anything that was like that, or for this little puppy, like tossing that at him. We had toys everywhere, all over the place, and so those toys, when they start to go for your hand or your heels, you freaking had one in my pocket, pulled it out, shoved it in his mouth, got his attention, and, you know, tossed it away. That's what worked when he was young. Now, there's a time when they're gonna have to really learn that that's, you know, what no means, and I think you start to teach that as early as possible also, but you can't be too harsh on them when they're really young, because you just wanna try and keep things positive, like he's going for heels, oh, just like get his attention really loud with a toy or something, and it will kind of take their attention away from nipping at you. Now, piggybacking off of that, you know, when they get a little bit older, you know, you can't be carrying a toy around in your pocket all the time. Like, that's not going to be enough. Some dogs, you know, maybe that is enough, and they kind of, you know, learn that, oh, I'd rather play with the toy instead, and then they grow out of it on their own. That wasn't the case for Cowboy. He was just, he wasn't an easy dog to train, guys. This isn't an easy breed to train. Like, the fact that he's turned out as well as he has is just mind-blowing to me. Even though, you know, I have somewhat dog experience with training dogs, like he's not really a dog, he's a wild animal, let's be real. Velociraptor, they don't joke about that. Okay, so now, you know, he's older, or your puppy's older, and redirecting isn't an option all the time anymore. Now is when you're gonna start to get more into the correction-based training. And, you know, that's kind of something where it's beneficial to have a leash on them around the house, or when you're in the yard. Just a really long line. Obviously never leaving them alone with that leash on, because they can get hooked on stuff, but having that on them so that, you know, this is like a very crucial time, and some people like don't want to go through the work at this age, and it's just, it will make the rest of your dog's life and your relationship with them so much better. So it's really worth it to do the extra step, put them on a leash around the house if they're acting like this, and correct them with a collar, just to pop on the leash and a strong no. And that's what worked for Cowboy the best. You know, there's other methods too. You could kind of, if they're really doing that, you lock them away in a different room, I've heard people say, or in their crate or something, but I like the crate to be a positive place, so I never really did that. But I will say something that does work also is just diffusing the situation. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're walking across the yard and they start to nip at your heels, or you're walking towards them and they start to play too rough with their mouths, then you just get up, or if you're sitting down, or you just turn your back to them and you just don't even give them the time of day. Just end the situation. You're not fun anymore, and you are no longer an interest to them, and just make yourself really boring, and just don't say anything, don't give them anything, and they'll kind of just be like, oh, okay, fine, and they'll move on. So those are kind of the things that work for me for teaching Cowboy not to nip. I know it was, I'm remembering back to that stage, and it was a tough stage to get through, but consistency is key, and just make sure you guys are staying consistent in whichever method you choose. And you might not get the right method right off the bat. It might not work. You kind of got to try a lot of different things and see what works the best for you and your dog. So best of luck out there with this, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up below. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. We are on Instagram and TikTok as well. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.
I've been in your waters.